Welcome to my third evidence of contemporary work. I am Agustin Parra and I'm going to talk about different concepts, exactly four concepts: digital revolution, terrorism, trade, and globalization. First, in globalization, I will talk about how it affects to the developed and developing countries. In terrorism, how it affects us in our daily lives, how the digital revolution had helped or affect us in a negative and positive way, and finally, how the WTO World Trade Center, what are their objectives and how they function in our society, and all their functions and consequences, causes, etc. Before I start explaining all the effects of globalization, we must review its concept. Globalization is a process of interaction and integration among the people, companies, and governments of different nations, a process driven by international trade like WTO and investment and aided by information technology. This has a relation with the digital revolution. This process had effects on the environment, culture, political systems, on economic development and prosperity, and on human physical well-being in societies around the world. Next to this, we will see how globalization had effect to developed and developing countries. Now for the concepts of digital revolution is that it refers to the advancement of technology from analog electronic and mechanical devices to the digital technology available today. The era started during the 80s and is going. The digital revolution is also the marks the beginning of the information era. Also for the fourth and final concept is terrorism, that is the unlawful use of force and violence against persons or property to intimidate or coerce a government, the civilian population, or any segment thereof, or furtherance of political or social objectives. Globalization is an era where the national economies unify to create a one global economy and give the chance to benefit each other by extending their business. This era helped the consolidation of capitalism, the innovations in technology, and the development of informatics and media. This leads us to the digital revolution. What can we say about this? Well, the advantages of the digital revolution is that we have information everywhere. We don't have to go to the library. We can just open our phone and search for the meaning of terrorism, for example. Uh, this this wasn't possible in the 80s or even the 90s, but this is one of the greatest advantages that the digital revolution gave us. In the other side of the disadvantages is that the we must take the technology and the economy to make one together, and well, the economy in the digital way is not 100% secure, which means that there are hackers, terrorism inside the media, and this can lead you to the to be victim of of an event where you get stealed by fake fake products or things like that. But getting returned to the globalization and their advantages, it brings that the commercial barriers disappear and the solutions for financial needs are more. It is easier to expand your own business, but it brings consequences as the devaluation of culture, exploitation of resources, and the concentration of richness. These are advantages and disadvantages of today's globalization. Here we have a fact that the 75% of the money goes to the first world countries, while the other percentage goes to the not developed countries, leading to more people living in poverty. Also, in the last years, it was proved that the rate of unemployment had increased. Now, in the politics, the purpose of the countries is to make them richer by making protectionist and discriminatory politics where they will only participate with powerful countries, pulling aside other countries like Mexico, Cuba, Venezuela that have the potential thanks to their natural resources. Now, in the politics, we can say that they are only interested in their own benefit. This makes an individualist thinking and the lack of empathy to their society. According to the UNDP, the Human Development Index provides a measure of three dimensions of human development. It can be said that there has been an important advance in human development. That is a great thing because now about the trade. What is trade? Trade is a basic economic concept involving the buying and selling of goods and services with compensation paid by a buyer to a seller, or the exchange of goods and services between parties. One of the worldwide organizations that are involved in the economic trades between countries is the WTO. WTO means World Trade Organization, and this organization is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. At, at its heart are the WTO agreements negotiated and signed by the bulk of the world's trading nations and ratified in their parliaments. The goal is to ensure that trade flows as smoothly, predictable, and freely as possible. What they do? All the major decisions are made by the WTO members' government, either by ministers or by the ambassadors or delegates. The WTO agreements cover goods, services, and intellectual property. They spell out the principles of liberalizations and the permitted exceptions. They include individual countries' commitments to lower customs tariff and other trade barriers. Now we will pass to the what we stand for. The WTO agreements are lengthy and complex because they are legal texts covering a wide range of activities, but a number of simple fundamental principles run through all these documents. These principles are the foundation of the multilateral trading system. First of all, non-discrimination. A country shall not discriminate between its trading partners, and it shall not discriminate between its own and foreign products, services, or nationals. Second, be more open. Lowering trade barriers is one of the most obvious ways of encouraging trade. These barriers include customs duties and measures such as import bans and quotas that restrict quantities selectively. Third, predictable and transparent. Foreign companies, investors, and governments should be confident that trade barriers should not be raised arbitrarily. Fourth, more competitivity. Discouraging unfair practices such as export subsidies and dumping products at below cost to gain market share. The issues are complex and the rules try to establish what is fair or unfair and how governments can respond. Fifth, more beneficial for less developed countries, giving them more time to adjust, greater flexibility, and special privilege. Over three quarters of WTO members are developing countries and countries in transitions to market economies. The WTO agreements give them transition periods to adjust their more unfamiliar and perhaps difficult WTO provisions. To end these rules of the WTO, they protect the environment. Now we will see what is the date of the foundation of the WTO. It was January 1st of 1995. Another thing about the WTO that we can see here is that the decision making that they do, all the aspects that they took together to make this decision more more reliable is that they go with all the ambassadors, all the ministers, and they discuss it together. Now, before I finish this video, I'm going to leave you with a little sketch of how the technology had influenced us in our daily lives. Oh, hi mom, how are you? Fine, and you? Well, what are you saying about the bank? The servers go down again? Oh no. That happens with the servers. One day can be at the full percent, then one day can be at 0% of its capacity. Yeah. About the bug. Yeah, I ordered by internet. It will get here at 12 a.m. I think so. Yeah, it's coming from China. I know. It is a express mode. Well, it was, yeah, just like $5 extra, so I put it. Okay. About what can we dinner? Well, I can order sushi with my computer. Oh, I received an email.